Hey guys, I'm David, and this is the first of your flipped PD in school delivered technology mini lessons. And this one is going to be on iPad basics. So, the first thing to know is this is an iPad, and there will be a whole bunch of them in your school very soon. Now, the first thing everybody wants to know with an iPad is how do I turn it on and off? And to turn it on and off, you're going to hold down this button up here that's on the top of the iPad and this button right here. The top button is a power button, the bottom button is a home button. Really, you don't need to constantly turn this on and off though. The screen will go to sleep when not in use, and the battery life on these is pretty good, and so there's really no need to constantly turn it on and off. The only reason to turn it on and off usually is that you have to reset it somehow and something's gone wrong. Now, the next thing is to know where the volume is, and the volume buttons are located on the side of the device right here. The volume buttons, you can turn the volume up and down, but there's also a little switch where you can actually mute the device too, right there. Headphones and power. Now the headphone jack is up here in the top left. It's basically you plug in a standard set of headphones. The power cord, where you actually charge the device, is right underneath the home button. And there are two different types of power cords, and it's significant that you actually know what they are. There's an old 30-pin connector that is a larger port, and if it has one of those, it shows that the iPad is a little bit older. You also would have to have a different power cord, and if you wanted to plug that into a projector, you would have to have a different VGA adapter. The newer iPads all come with the lightning cord. It's a smaller cord that's also reversible. Some other things to note. Up here in the top left, this is the first thing you always want to do if you want to diagnose an iPad's problems. Do the little lines that show if it's on Wi-Fi show up in the top left. And if they are not there, that means your device or the student's device is actually not on Wi-Fi. And so that's always the first thing you want to look at. Right here, you have what is an application icon. These are the actual programs and software that you can use with the iPad. So it's what you would do with the iPad and what the kids would do with the iPad. In the top right, you have the battery level icon. And the battery level icon comes default where it's just a picture, but you can actually change that in the settings of the iPad. Right here is an example of a folder. And a folder is just a way to organize your iPad. And basically the way folders work is that you hold your finger down on an icon until all the icons start to shake, and then you can pull them on top of each other and pull them into folders. Right here is a quick trick with an iPad. You can actually save URLs as app icons on your iPad. And so that's a good way to save like forms. And we'll talk about that a little later. Now to move applications. To rearrange screens, hold your finger on an application until it starts to shake. You can then move the app around, or if you look in the top left corner of all of these apps, there's a little X, and that's how you delete apps from your iPad. And then this is also how you would move them into folders. You pull those apps on top of one another or pull them into an existing folder, and that's a way to organize your iPad. Now, saving URLs as apps. To save a URL as an app, what you would do is when you're in Safari, you would hit this little button at the top that looks like a square with an arrow pointing out of it. That's basically your share button. And if you notice on your share button, it has a little button down here saying add to home screen. And that's what would add your URL as an app icon to your home screen.